I'm so motherfucking New York with it, man. Uptown, it's the Goomba. My ear.
Peace, YouTube. What's good? Phil Facts here, the Sports Snob. Snobby Sports in full effect. Yes, we are in the building. So today's topic in this video, the Clippers choke, man. What are they gonna do? Wow. I mean, I kind of called it. I was hoping it was gonna be a LA final just because it makes good news. The reality is, I really don't care as a Knicks fan. I didn't have a rooting interest, but in my heart, I knew that the Nuggets had a better team. They were deep. Like I said in my last video about this situation, the Nuggets got two starting lineups, man. And I don't know, the Clippers, man, they never gel. They just never seem to gel. And then Lou Williams, he didn't have a good bubble at all. Not at all. Pat Beverly, he did his thing, but clearly he got outshined by Jamal Murray. Um, I don't know, man. The Clippers got a lot of work ahead of them, man. So let's talk about Paul George, man. What's going on with PG? I gotta say, I think Paul George has kind of been exposed in the playoffs, man. Ever since they played, ever since he was on Indiana and he had that great playoff series against LeBron in Miami, he hasn't been the same. I don't want to blame the injury. I don't think it's the injury. I don't know what it is. But I do feel like him and Russell Westbrook and they shady, inconsistent gameplay, um, being hard to read teammates. I think Carmelo took the bump for that. It's evident now as we look back that Carmelo wasn't the problem for OKC. They just blamed him for it, which is almost elementary. It makes sense, the way the NBA machine works. LeBron, Carmelo, the rivalry. They boosting up LeBron to be the greatest. Carmelo's probably the only player that could actually go head up with LeBron, as we saw even in the playoffs when he played with Portland. It's almost like LeBron got a certain kind of respect for Carmelo. You could see it. He was almost watching Melo play well and enjoyed it. I'm not saying that that's the I don't think that's the NBA's game plan. I'm not saying that that was LeBron's motive per se, but maybe he couldn't help himself because that's his boy, and maybe he wanted to see him do good. And also too, you know, let's be honest, man. It's instant gratification to see somebody that you care about or that you tight with do well against adversity and make naysayers look stupid. And that's what Carmelo's been doing. Um, he went to the Rockets, and we could clearly see that once again wasn't him. James Harden is another dude. That's why him and Westbrook are together, but that's a separate video. Back to Paul George. Yeah, so Paul George has been exposed. I'm not saying he's trash, but he's just not that clutch player that everyone has been thinking that he is. And maybe he's not even a number two. Maybe he's a complimentary number three player, that third option. Because he hasn't been the number one or go to guy since that Heat series. And that's just the honest truth. I said in my last video, what you do in the regular season, it's not that it doesn't matter, but that's like it's like practice. It's getting you ready for the playoffs. So you building up your stamina, you building up your chemistry, you building up everything towards reaching and accomplishing that goal, winning the championship. And the Clippers, man, they choked again. They choked before when they had CP3 and they had Blake and they had the Lob City thing going. That looked promising and failed. And now this. So do we blame the players? I talked about I talked about Paul George, man. He definitely slipped on him. But what about the coaching? What about Doc, man? Doc Rivers didn't look too good. It almost seems like Doc's not adjusting to the game that is being played. I'm not saying he's not adjusting to the league in general. I'm talking about during the game. He's not. He didn't make, especially the last two games. The swing in points and momentum was so vast, and Doc Rivers did not stop the bleeding ever in both games. He didn't have a go-to move. He didn't have an answer, and that's not good. We got guys like Mark Jackson. We got guys that's not getting a chance. You got guys like Jerry Stackhouse waiting for an opportunity. You got a lot of guys that deserve a chance to be a head coach. And we keep seeing the NBA shuffle the same dudes. D'Antoni, Doc Rivers. I respect Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy, he's humble. He knows how to fall back. Even Thibodeau. That's why I'm glad we got him now. I like that he took a hiatus, fell back, regrouped, watched the game from afar, never left, never went too far, but enough where he could recuperate his game plan, change his playbook around, get with the times, adjust, see what he could do better. So that's what I'm looking forward to with him being on the Knicks now. Doc Rivers, maybe he needs to do that. Maybe he needs to take a break, man. Maybe he needs to stop coaching for a few years and catch up with everybody else. It's all right. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you are a part of a field and you're not prominent. It doesn't mean that you're not good. You're just not getting the attention, or you're not making the proper adjustments to get noticed. Or in Doc Rivers' case, he is being given an opportunity. He's just not executed. And so he needs to readjust, man, before he damages his reputation. And then he can't get a job. Or he has like I said, a damaging reputation that is connected to his name. He doesn't need that. So I'm thinking maybe Doc, he needs to fall back, man. He needs to be humble and take a break from coaching. That's my opinion on that situation. I think the Clippers need a change in coaching. They need a change in leadership. Kawhi is there. He needs to change his attitude. I already expressed the nonchalant way that he has is it's okay, but when it's down to the wire and you trying to compete in something that's, how do I say, it requires for you to be aggressive on some levels. There's no way around it. Basketball requires several types of aggressions. You don't have to be a nasty person, but you do have to be aggressive. And Kawhi was being passive, man. Gave the ball up to people that weren't shooting well. He didn't take this series over. Like I said in my last video, when LeBron played against Houston, he set the tone immediately. When Denver and the Clippers played, I saw a Kawhi attempt to do that initially, and then he faded away. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much work you put in that beginning. If you don't finish, you got to finish. That's something that we get on LeBron about all the time. We got to get on Kawhi. This time, Kawhi didn't finish. It's all good. He has finished in the past. We know he has it in him. He's capable. So let's go, brother. Let's get it together next season. You and PG, y'all got to get it together. I don't know if they'll have the same cast, but because I don't know the structure of the team and their contracts and all of that, but for the most part, I'm sure that the basic core of the team will be there, except for Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly's like the only one that we keep hearing about leaving from that team. That's probably an important part or important piece. But all in all, the Clippers they got to get it together. They got to regroup and come back strong next year. And I mean, Not just have a strong regular season, because they did that this year. They had a decent regular season. We all thought they were going to go to the finals. So shout out to the Miami Heat. As much as I hate y'all, I got to give y'all props. I think Miami's probably the most dangerous team in the playoffs right now. Um, I think that the Celtics, it'd be crazy if it ended up being a Miami and Denver finals. That would be crazy. That would be, not a lot of people call that. I don't want to hear it. There's no way that a lot of people could see Miami and Denver making it to the finals. It'd be different. It'd be nice to see some different teams and different players being talked about and the focus of the finals and the spotlight on them instead of like the same teams. And as much as the Lakers get covered all year, to be honest with you, I'd be glad to see them get bumped. I'm kind of tired of the Lakers. Tired of hearing about them all the time. Um, so it'd be nice to see Denver play against Miami in the finals. That'd be different. Um, I wonder what the I wonder what the spread would be on that. If anybody knows, let me hear. Like, what's the spread? What was the odds on Miami making it to the finals? What was the odds on Denver making it to the finals when the playoffs started? Not now because we've seen the teams play, so I know that changes the odds a little bit. But I want to know what were the odds in the beginning when the bubble started, when the playoffs started? What was Miami's odds to make it to the finals, and what was Denver's odds? Because this is just bananas, man. This is beautiful. This is exactly what NBA basketball is all about. And this is why when I was younger, we used to say NBA action is fantastic because you never know what's going to happen. You got to play the games. You can argue all you want about your opinion on who you think is going to do what and who's better and this, that, and the third. But until the teams go head to head and play out their series, you really can't tell what's going to happen a lot of times, man. You got to look at the gameplay, and every game is different. And we've seen that with the Clippers series and the Lakers series. Um, in the East Coast, it was more of a straightforward. You could kind of see the momentum of the series where it was headed. And so there was no real surprises in the East. Once Boston smacked Milwaukee, that was it for disappointment on the East. But on the West, we still got a ways to go. Yeah, man, we got a ways to go because now we got to see what's going to happen with the Clippers. I mean, with the Nuggets and the Lakers. Who you got? Do the Lakers have a chance to choke like the Clippers, man? Is it possible? Do the Nuggets have a chance to go to the finals? And what about Miami? Will Miami beat Boston? Can they make it to the finals? We got to sit back and watch the games. But until then, let me know what you think, y'all. And I'll be making videos to cover the playoffs because, there's only a few games left. So I'll be covering the playoffs. I'm about to make another video about free agency. So tune in. This is Phil Fax, a sports snob, Snobby Sports. And I'm signing out. You know why. Because I got it like that. Peace.